Oh, what's up YouTube? Card from NT21 here, and I'm doing an old-fashioned Shogun 2 online battle. This is a 3 vs 3. I'm of course Codman 10TE. My allies are, this guy is called like RKU Master. He's brought a traditional Japanese army, so he's bow samurai. He's got a bunch of bow ashigaru, some bow samurai, monks. He's got Naginata samurai, some hero units, all very veteran up. So this guy was a 10-star, so he's really good. And then these guys are working together. Fire and Blood. He brought an Imperial unit, a lot of Imperial units. He's got some Imperial infantry. He's got some Vermilion Bird Force, which I don't like very much. He's got Saber Cav, huge cavalry. I'm just happy to be doing a 3 vs 3 because it is pretty epic. Now my plan is to, I'm kind of holding off my opponent here. His name is Rich Brat. I don't know why you name yourself that. So I'm basically going to be controlling my troops from here. We're going to hold this side. I'm going to make sure he doesn't flank around my allies. I was basically just a staller in this battle. So I'm going to be directing my artillery. I've got a bunch of I got an Infantry Day Marine. Got some Royal Marines that are hidden. And then I've got a bunch of Imperial Infantry, and then I got one guard, a Toso Rifleman, and a Yugotai. Now, the big battle we're going to be watching is for this hill. So Fire and Blood and Master were very like their armies were basically on top of each other, and they did a really good job of navigating the hill. He's got some great guard here. Right, he's using the traditional army. So it's kind of interesting to see one of us was using a traditional army. Let's go look at the enemy. There's a total of about 40 units that are all going to be on this hill. So I definitely want to show some of this action. He's just got a ton of Vermilion Bird Force. Lots and lots of Vermilion Bird Force. And Dark was actually a CPU, because the guy couldn't connect with us. So my opponent has a bunch of Red Bears. He's got 4 Tosa Riflemen, which are going to be hidden towards almost the very end of the battle, and then like 6 Saber Cav. So I don't know why, but he's bringing up 1 Red Bear infantry. I'm just going to shoot them with my Yugotai. Now my allies are getting up on the hill. This guy was going to try to help me, originally with Fire and Blood, but I think he's going to move his troops back, because that's not where the fight's going to be. The fight's going to be up here. So at this moment, Master is telling him to get your troops up here. So let's see, there's a dojo, a armor dojo, and a sword dojo. So it's going to be kind of like traditional. You got a lot of bows, but honestly, these Vermilion Bird Force, I mean, yes, they got good morale. He's actually upgraded. He must really like these guys. He's got a lot of Vermilion Bird Force. They have basically guards morale, but they don't have that fast reload or accuracy. So he's got his artillery set up. Meanwhile, these archers are all shooting. These are just bow ashigaru. Let's look at some of the damage they're doing. Only 2 kills. They're not extremely accurate, but I think he's doing 1 unit on 1 unit. So if you look at this, the archers can have the arc, and they can actually shoot over the hill there, while these Vermilion Bird Force are going to be shooting into the ground if they do a fire at will. So they're stationary right now. Looks like he's flanking out some Tosa Riflemen. This is the CPU though. Shogun Guard Cavalry. This is actually the human opponent. So he's bringing up his guys, because you know they're just getting shot from below. As you can see, a lot of these guys are dropping already. Huge line. Look how long this line is. It's like he stacked those. So here comes a cavalry charge. He's going to countercharge. There's tons of cavalry on the hill. Anyway, Fire and Sword. The archers provide kind of some skirmish fire, and Fire and Sword has brought up his own troops. His Vermilion Bird Force. They're tired. They've all climbed up the hill. We got some Imperial infantry. So the archers are going to be behind, hopefully providing fire support. Meanwhile, we got a huge cavalry fight on this flank. Looks like these Yariki are getting killed by the Imperial Guard cav, Shogunate Guard. Actually, Shogunate, yeah, these guys, there's also Naganatas in here, so that's not looking good for the, enemy's cav. As you can see on the hill from the mini-map up here, there's massive concentrations. We are the blue ones, and they are the red. So I wasn't actually watching this part of the battle, so I'm kind of watching it too for the first time. I mean, if you can use these armies right, you got the quick reload. He's got a ton of bows too. He's also got warrior monks. Love those guys. So they have a volume of fire that's different than these guys. Like, let's look at the bow heroes. Where was that? Oh, he's got bow hero mixed in here. There they are. These guys. The line of sight is blocked because they've been so bunched up. So let's see. These Naganatas are getting into the Tosa riflemen. These Naganatas aren't going to make it. Let's look at the main stuff on the hill. It looks like an all-out clash. Yarikachi are fighting with the Imperial. There's been cavalry charges. There's bows. Imperial infantry seem to be being defeated. These guys seem to be shooting at... Oh! And then I brought in my cav all the way around the enemy, and I'm going to charge in this giant blob of enemy troops. This is just because I saw the tide wasn't looking too well. There's a ton of enemy banners up here. These are just black bears. These are some Imperial infantry. They're pretty good. So just with my guys being here, that's gonna help. It's gonna help this fight in the middle. Anyway, these guys are here still mopping up those toasts, so let's go back to the main fight on the hill. So, looks like the volume of fire, there's just too many enemies for my cavalry to take. There's 4 or 5 of them. Actually 3 or 4, counting that one. So what this allowed me to do, what this allowed my allies to do was to line up their troops and get them in a crossfire. So it looks like these guys were able to take all these shots into these guys. Got some artillery coming in. I think I redirected my artillery at this point. Marcus tiring too. So as these guys are coming out of the woods, they're getting shot to pieces. Not to mention we got all the arrow fire. And he comes right into the area of these Naganatas. As you can see, these guys are on loose formation. And it looks like Fire and Blood is charging into the troops, so it's kind of interesting. The conventional army has just mowed down these 2 armies. So big fight on the hill here. Just winding down. Okay, so what I missed showing was Rich Brad basically tried to bring all his cav and support his allies, which I didn't let happen. I brought 2 of my guys. 2 of my Imperial cav were able to actually beat off most of his Saber cav. I think 1 or 2 got through. So, you know, I'm just going to be bringing up my troops. I mean, I've just been sitting there basically kind of covering our left flank. I did send up some cav though. So yeah, all this cav's doing is he's just bringing back his guys right into Master's Naganatas, which are going to have a field day with these horses. They're very good against horses. I mean, they're Naganatas, they're spears after all. So that, you see, he used his army rather well. I don't think Rich Brat should have charged a Saber cav into these guys. Not to mention, these guys are able to run up the hill and then rest while these guys are tired. So yeah, Naganatas easily killing these cavalry. And Fire and Blood is his reserves, his Imperial Guard infantry that were able to blast what was ever left of this army, which just looks like some retreating troops. And these bears. I don't know why, but these 3 opponents loved bears. They loved red bears, black bears, white bears. Oh, those guys just got hit by an artillery shell. So now that I know these guys are pretty much secure, and Shogun 2 crashed. I went back and tried to finish up this commentary, with the rest of the battle. All you missed were the opponent I was across from went on a hill with 4 Tosa riflemen, and as you saw, my 2 allied armies of my other guys on my team, and I just came up and we just shot them. So that's all you missed. Unfortunately, I don't have the results screen because my replay has officially been corrupted. Thanks, Shogun 2. So I can't do anything about that. I've already played the battle, and yeah. So it's going 2-1 signing off, and hopefully the next replay won't be corrupt.